So that is also very important. So that is also part of this course, that the participants will learn to actually share the knowledge that they have gained through this course. And also in terms of skills, we will learn to apply these philosophies in our own personal lives and also in our outreach and in general in the society. And these skills are also mainly like how we can enrich our devotional service also on a daily basis. So that is the skill we will learn from reading these books. And in terms of value system, trying to understand what is the mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada, and also in what mode we should be applying it personally and to in respects to others, and also learning certain cultural elements, devotional cultural elements and etiquettes which are mentioned in these books. So these are the general aims. So you can see most of you already kind of put these aims as your intentions, like trying to understand the books deeply and trying to apply the books in your own personal lives. So that was the two aims that stood out very prominently in all your sharings. Each and every module that we'll be having in this particular course will have learning objectives. So I'll be as a someone who's facilitating the course, I'll be sharing all the learning objectives for each module with you before the module begins. And as the module goes, you can check, are you achieving those learning objectives? And also, are you able to, and at the end of the course, you can look at it and see, check for yourself, did the instructor actually help you go through all those objectives? And if there is anything which is not accomplished, then we can take it with the instructor and you will be able to address that. So that's about the course aims. The course aim has three primary aims. One is to increase the knowledge, skills, and the values, and mainly for understanding of the books and application of the books. And we'll also have learning objectives as part of the each module, and you'll be able to check, did we achieve those learning objectives through the course? And this course overview has 4 books. And let's see why these 4 books mainly, because we could have studied any 4 books, but Srila Prabhupada specifically mentioned to these 4 books. So there is reasoning behind those choosing these 4 books. And some of these books are Vedic books, you can call, and some of them are specifically Gaudiya Vaishnava books. So if you want to take a guess, what are the Vedic books out of this 4, and what are the Gaudiya Vaishnava books out of these 4? Any guess?
Vedic.
You can unmute yourself.
Ishopanishad and Bhagavad Gita is Vedic books,
Yes.
and the other two are Gaudiya Vaishnava books.
Yes, perfect. So why we call it Vedic books and Gaudiya Vaishnava books, why we divide them is because even though all these books are authorized fully, but some of these books like Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion are specific to our Sampradaya. They are written by Rupa Goswami, and both are written by Srila Rupa Goswami. However, Bhagavad Gita or the general Vedic books like Bhagavad Gita and Ishopanishad is referred and studied by various other people, whether they are impersonalist or personalist, and even other religions. Sometimes they refer, like yogis, all kinds of people actually refer to these books. And these books, their main importance is they come under the category of Shruti. Ishopanishad comes under Shruti, and Bhagavad Gita technically comes under Smriti, but it's as good as respected as Shruti. So they are our Vedic connection for the ISKCON movement or for the Gaudiya Vaishnava school of philosophy. These books are the connections that we have to Vedic literature in general. And also, both of these exemplify the personalistic way of worship. Ishopanishad is specifically chosen out of so many Upanishads because Ishopanishad has a kind of a small but a direct hint towards personalistic nature of the absolute truth. That is the reason this book is chosen, and this is one of the most primary Upanishad, Ishopanishad. It has the credits of commentary being written by all the acharyas like Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, and every other major acharyas in every sampradaya. whether they are personalist or impersonalist, have written a commentary on Ishopanishad. So, and in spite of that, it has a very direct indication of the personal nature of the absolute truth. And also, it connects the Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara to its roots, to the Madhva Sampradaya and henceforward. So it establishes our Vedic authority, these two books. And that is why the commentary by Srila Prabhupada on these books are very, very important. And then we learn philosophy through these books, mainly general philosophical foundation of God being a person, and what is the nature of the material world, who are we, that we are spirit souls and not these bodies. These kind of basic philosophical foundations are studied in these books. However, as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we have certain specific practices. Like I put on this tilak, I have a certain kind of dress, I have a certain way of worshipping the deities, certain way of greeting the deities, certain way of greeting each other. So this is all actually very specific to Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So those things are generally specific, is dealt with in these books like Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion. At the same time, Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion, they're also universal. Specifically, Nectar of Instruction has very universal instructions. At the same time, it also starts from a universal application and amazing insights into daily practices. And then it goes into a very specific level of bhajana paddhati, means the way to practice devotional service, how to daily practice devotion service. So it goes from a universal application to a gradual personalized Gaudiya Vaishnava application. So this book is like an just in 11 verses. It's a masterpiece by Srila Rupa Goswami. It starts with some very specific general instructions and goes on to say very specific things about the devotional practice, and it is very masterfully arranged, and it's just 11 verses totally, and it's a small book but it's a very powerful book. That will be the first book that we'll be starting. And Nectar of Devotion is the distinguishing book for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, because this is the book in which the philosophy of Rasa Tattva, is actually established by Srila Rupa Goswami. So one of the major differences between Vaishnava schools like Sri Vaishnava, Madhvas even, or other Vaishnava schools and Gaudiya Vaishnava school is the elaborate Rasa Tattva, which is given by Srila Rupa Goswami. So the basics of the Rasa Tattva is given in this book, uh, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and Prabhupada wrote a summary study of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and named the commentary as Nectar of Devotion. So we will be studying the first 19 chapters of this book. So Gaudiya Vaishnava books mainly give us the Achinta Beda Beda Tattva and the specific ways to practice devotional service as given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that is the two different categorization of these books. The books on the top here, Bhagavad Gita and Ishopanishad, they are mostly Vedic, and the two books here, they are mostly Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, which will be having a clear flavor of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. So I hope this is clear. So anyone has any questions on this?
I'm wondering why are we going to study only 19 chapters of the Nectar of Devotion?
As it's a perfect question. There is also going to be a separate slide on Nectar of Devotion and its modules. So I was about to actually take it up then. In short, to say that this is a foundational course. So only first 19 chapters are dealt with. That relates mostly with the Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. And then the next section actually deals with little advanced section. So that will be taken in future courses. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu. So you told Nectar of Devotion. So that is came from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, you mean?
Yes, Bhakti Rasamrita, the Nectar of Devotion is a summary study of Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu.
So Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is larger than like it's like Nectar of Devotion itself is going to have 1 to 19 chapters we are having, and rest of the chapters we are going to learn in next journey. So Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu compared to that, it is more it's very huge then. Am I right?
Oh, Nectar of Devotion is actually a complete summary study of the book Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It has more chapters, but we are only going to focus on the first 19 chapters in this course.
Okay.
Nectar of
Thank you.
Devotion is a complete summary study of the book Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, but we are only going to take chapters 1 to 19 for Bhakti Shastri.
Okay. Thank
Does
you.
it answer your question, Prabhu?
Yes.
So these 4 books will be classified into 5 modules. In the module 1, as you all might have read so many times, the Nectar of Instruction and Ishopanishad is module 1. Nectar of Devotion is module 2. Bhagavad Gita is divided into 3 modules because generally Bhagavad Gita is divided into section of Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga. So we have also divided that the similar way. First 6 chapters deals predominantly with Karma Yoga, and the middle 6 chapters deals with predominantly Bhakti Yoga, and the last 6 chapters predominantly deal with Jnana Yoga. So they are divided into 3 modules, and now we will see each module what is the details in each modules. So the first module that we'll be seeing has 2 books, out of which we'll first take up Nectar of Instruction, and this will have a maximum of 8 teaching sessions, which is not today. The teaching session starts from next week. So today's is just an orientation session. I'm going to complete it soon and give you a break. But from next week, it can be anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. So you can kind of block your calendars and kind of be prepared mentally also to stay at least for 2 hours. Most speakers, and then there's going to be questions and all those things depending on the enthusiasm of the participants. So anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, the session will go on. But we are going to have only 8 sessions for Nectar of Instruction. It has 11 verses. We will split it. We will cover all those 11 verses within the 8 sessions. And if you all could do some kind of preliminary study before the classes, then our classes is going to be more of an interaction and more of sharing, and you don't need to study a lot. If you get the understanding already during the class, then your study is going to be much more easier. So if you just do a rough one-time study, because this book is very small book, and the first week we are only going to see 13 pages of this small book. It's like a small booklet. So even if you can read the whole book before the course begins next week, if you can read only the first 13 pages of this book, just a study, you don't need to understand anything, just like a once reading what is happening here. And I'll also send you a small video, one for the preface, one for the verse 1. I already sent a sample for the preface. It'll be a 4 to 5 minutes video. You listen to the video and give a rough reading, a first reading for the whole 13 paper thing, 13 pages. Then you will have some idea when you walk into the class. Okay, this is what we are going to see today. So then we will actually study the whole thing in the class, but you are going to be much more informed when you do a preliminary self study. And because you also know already read once, and I'm going to explain, so the rest of the time we will only discuss, take questions, and try to discuss the open book questions and the closed book questions and all these things right in the class. So all you have to do later will be very less. If you are planning to take an examination, then your efforts are going to be much less that you have to put individually. So we will have an open book. What do you mean by open book is, we will give you some set of questions. I'll give you before the next week class begins. While we are teaching, those answers will not be exactly answered, but a combination of the teaching and the combination of your personal study, you should be able to answer it. It is just to check your understanding, just to make you think. So there will be choices. There is like 7 or 8 questions for Nectar of Instruction, but out of which you will be expected to write 1 or 2. So you can choose from those and then start working on them when the teaching is going on. And when the 8 sessions are completed, you are expected to submit them. And I will also show you next week how to write an open book. It's already shared with you also on WhatsApp in the student workbook, but I will also show you. And you can always discuss your answer with me, not in the class, but outside the class. If you get in touch with me, and we can review your answer, I can give you corrections, and in that way you can actually complete your open book. It carries a good amount of weightage for your assessment. And then closed book. What is closed books? Closed book is very simple and very easy. You will be given already a set of questions, and from those questions we will ask you to write few questions, not all of them. So you will already know the questions what are going to come, but out of them only a very few will be selected for you to write. So the memorization part I'm trying to keep it less, because most of us are middle, like our age is not like a schooling age. So I'm not expecting everyone to actually memorize everything but at the same time we don't want to minimize the importance of memorization also. So understanding is the most primary thing. At the same time, let's see if we can reproduce our understanding in words. I'm not expecting any verbatim translation and nothing like that, but at least understand and reproduce as much as possible. So closed book will have lesser weightage, open book will have more, because of that you just have to express your understanding. So the whole book will be dealt with in this module. The whole book of Nectar of Instruction we will study in this course. So any questions on this? Okay.
Prabhuji, so for this open book, so you will be continue writing during the whole modules, or you'll be writing at the end?
I will give those questions before the module begins, and you choose what you want to answer and start your answers as you are exploring the book.
Okay, so during the course, you can keep writing and changing your answer or include your understanding as you learn.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
So you literally have 8 weeks to work on 1 or 2 questions actually. So you have enough time to work on and gradually build the answer. And all you have to write is like 600 words for each question. It's not like a big essay or anything. It's a 600 words worth write up for each question. That's all. Max 2, I think you will be writing. And then the same for Ishopanishad. We will have 8 sessions. We will have an open book and we will have a closed book. So I'll be teaching Nectar of Instruction, and Vasudev Prabhu is decided that he will be teaching Sri Ishopanishad, and it will have 8 sessions, and he will also follow a same format. Of course, please expect some changes when the instructor is different. Everyone will have a certain flavor, but we are all expected to accomplish a certain learning objectives. So that will not change. However, style he changes in teaching, he will also achieve the same learning objectives and guide all of you in doing your open book and closed book. And apart from the specific instructors for each module, I will remind your point of contact for any help that you need. In case if you are unable to get any help in certain section, you can always reach out to me as a overall facilitator for any help that I'll be happy to help you in anything. Or even if you're unable to communicate sometimes with the instructor or he's not getting back to you, you can always come to me as the overall course facilitator, so I can help you with. So Ishopanishad will complete the module 1, and then it will be Nectar of Devotion. It's 10 to 14 sessions for Nectar of Devotion, and chapters will be covering 1 to 19 as I explained earlier. Because the first 19 chapters deal with Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, that means regulated devotional service, which we are all trying to practice. We'll be mainly diving deep into those sections. The rest of the book actually deals with Raganuga Bhakti, that you're open to read it on your own, but the other courses that you take in ISKCON, the higher courses, that will cover them. This book will also have open and closed books and will go anywhere between 10 to 14 sessions depending on the speed that the instructor takes or the questions that you all have. And this module will be taught by His Grace Jai Jagannath Prabhu. He is very well known for his nice presentations, like very deep presentations on Nectar of Devotion. So you can all look forward for those sessions. And Bhagavad Gita will have 3 modules. The first 6 chapters will have 12 to 18 sessions, and it will also have closed and open books, and it will also have verses to memorize. We haven't clearly decided who is going to teach which module, because it's almost going to be after 30 weeks. People's schedules keep changing, So it will be either myself, Vasudev Prabhu, Jai Jagannath Prabhu, or the other two facilitators like Sundarnath Prabhu or Tulsi Rani Mataji. Between us, we'll be choosing who's having time, and accordingly we will be able to facilitate. Sometimes it may even happen that the 6 chapters, 3 will be taught by one and the 3 will be taught by other facilitator. But we'll try to keep one per module, one instructor per module, so that you have a continuity or flow of thought and style. For the module 4, it will be from chapter 7 to 12, and similarly it will also have 10 to 14 sessions, and we'll have both closed book and open book. So they in this model of 5 modules, after every module is completed, you can write your exams. You don't need to wait for all the 5 modules to complete. After the first module is over, by the time the first module is over, you finish your open book. At the end of the first module, you write your closed book. You're done with nectar of instruction. So then you can completely focus on Ishopanishad next. And you will also have at least 2 attempts. In case if you're unable to clear 65%, you can again take another attempt also. And yeah, again, the open book also, you can everything you can attempt twice, not an issue. And we will be doing module by module, so you can just focus on the module, study nicely, and complete your exams. So between 2 modules, we will have some time for you to study and give your exams, and then we will start the next module. And module 5, we'll be seeing from chapters 13 to 18, and we will take 8 to 12 sessions. And this will also have open book, closed book, verse memorization, and we will give you time to study, a break, and then you can complete the exam. So when you have completed all the 5 modules, open book and closed book, and you have cleared all the 5 modules, then you'll be qualified for a Bhakti Shastri degree given by ISKCON Board of Examination. And additionally, there is a possibility that one final exam will be there in which just the verses from different books will be asked, not everything, just the verses from different books will be asked. That might be even optional. We will see when the course comes to an end. So this is mainly the course structure that we saw earlier. So now we will check on the course assessment. I was using all these terms, open book, closed book, and all these things. So we will see in detail what is it. So closed book assessment means you study and then you give an examination, like without seeing anything, you just write like a regular examination. So this happens at the end of the module, each module. Your questions will come from a known set of questions. You will already be given a set of questions and you will prepare from them, and we will choose certain questions from that set. So you will already know what you're going to write about, and there will be a verses which will be already given to you, and we will also help you memorize during the classes and after the classes. Whatever self-study questions that you get and the analogies that is given in the book, student guidebook, and this known set of questions, plus 1 or 2 surprise questions, that's all will be the final exam. So you already do a self-study, we will ask from you those questions, and the analogy list is given to you, will be given to you already in the study guidebook. We will again ask from those analogies, and as known set of questions also will be there. Apart from all this, we will ask maybe 1 or 2 surprise questions just to check your understanding, that's all. So overall, you are supposed to get 65%, which will not be a very difficult thing because all the questions are already known to you, and we will also help you prepare the answers and understand the answers. So it's not going to be like a very difficult thing. And as participants, co-participants in the course, if one person comes up with an answer, we can discuss those answers and kind of clarify and kind of note down. So you're not just going to study everything on your own. We will do in the class also preparation for the exam. Mother Indra, you had raised your hands. I'm sorry.
Yes. So you said, so there's a set of questions, but you're not going to test us on all of the questions. You're going to pick them for us to answer each week, or each week we'll turn in all the sets of questions for each book.
So all these exams are all end of module, not every week actually. After the whole course is over, at the end of the 8 weeks, you will be giving an examination for this book. after 8 weeks.
Oh, so there's no questions to turn in every module? No.
No.
Okay. So then when you're picking out the questions at the end, are they going to be the ones that, are we going to know which ones you're going to pick, or we have to study all of them and you're going to choose some of them and we won't know which ones they are?
So this particular book, for example, A Nectar of Instruction, after 8 weeks of teaching this, you'll be having approximately like 20 questions.
Mhm.
And we will be discussing those answers already in the class. So in the examination, I'll be asking a couple of questions, like maybe 5 or 6 out of those 20. So it's because we already give you the questions and also discuss the answers. So we kind of expect you to kind of understand and express it again.
Okay.
Does that clarify?
Mhm.
And it is not every week, it's end of the module after each book. Once for Nectar of Instruction, Ishopanishad, Bhagavad Gita for 3 modules. So it will be only end of the module.
So in the Bhagavad Gita, there's like there's a few questions for each section, right? So you're gonna ask them at the very end.
1 to 6 chapters will have a separate exam.
Yeah.
And we'll have a separate exam for 7 to 12 and separate exam for 13 to 18.
Okay. So you're not, okay. All right.
I understand the concern. Yeah, I understand. But the part of the course facilitation is also to help prepare in the examination. It's not just we're trying to spoon feed. Rather, we're just trying to discuss the answers, and then you anyway have to grasp them and then just reproduce them later. So it also we also make sure you are understanding those concepts that we are teaching. Yes, Paresh Kumar Prabhu.
Prabhuji, so you have to schedule an exam at the end of the module. So individual has to schedule at its own pace, or it will be for everyone at the same time?
So before starting each module, we will give you the whole schedule for the module, which week what we will be teaching, and which week we will be giving you time for preparation after the module is over, and which week everyone has to take the exam. For some reason, if somebody is not able to give the exam, then they can take later, but we won't give a break for studying or anything. After that, the next module will start. They have to just give the exam along with the other module.
Thank you.
Yes, Mother Indra, and then.
Sorry. Are you giving a Google Doc exam, or how are you facilitating the exam?
It's a very important question that you're asking. So I was only expecting local devotees to join, and then just who are known to Bhakti Center, whom I can call here and then ask them to write a in-person exam. If the COVID, because the COVID is going to, means the course is going to go for a long time. So once we decided it's going to be completely online, so we will look into a way how to do that. It will be mostly through those kind of documents. I'll be just live online in a particular way, and then you will be just writing those exams or typing it like that. That's why closed book is going to be much more less. Open book is going to be more because it's a very online course.
Right. So the Brooklyn Temple did this online totally, and they did use Google Docs to facilitate the test. And there's a way of doing multiple choice or writing in and stuff like that. So it's kind of helpful. But they also cut the the Gita, they cut them in half. We had 2 final tests on each 6 chapters because it was so much. But I know you don't want us to memorize, but there's a lot in the answers. That's fine.
Yeah, we'll try to balance, and also we can change certain aspects based on the feedback and the experience of the students. If you say, okay, this is a lot to go on one go to take, so then okay, then we can just divide and do. So as we start exploring the modules, then we will know if it is like too much for most people, then accordingly we can adjust the things. So the basic understanding is like you learn it and you also study by yourself, and you're like eager to kind of present it also, not just seeing it as a burden or feeling it overwhelming. Shirupa, does it answer your question, Mother Indra?
Will all of the course materials be delivered through WhatsApp, just WhatsApp, or will it also be delivered through email?
I can send it over email also.
Okay.
I will send it over email. I'll also create a Google Drive where I'll be sharing the link so that it's going to stay there. You don't need to search your WhatsApp or email every time when you have to access. I will set up a Google Drive. I haven't shared because the registrations were keep on coming. So I was just waiting for the registrations to close, then I can share it with all of you. So all the resources will be kept in a Google folder, Google Drive, and I'll share it with you guys. Mother Radhika?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. So as I heard from before question, the online the session is going to be, examination is going to be happening online. That's correct, right, Prabhu?
Yes.
That's one thing. Okay, and apart from that, like, well, is the any extra payment for the exam again, or that includes the which includes like 108 or something we are paying right for here? So that itself includes the examination also, or
Yeah, there is no extra for the exams. Whatever you have paid for the whole course, that includes assessment and everything. There is no other payment apart from the actual payment that you already made.
okay, thank you.
Indra?
I'm sorry. This getting into this class, we have to go through Event Drive. Are you going to eventually just send us the Zoom link each time?
Yeah, once the registration fully completes, then I'll give out the uh, Zoom link. Even I'm working with Eventbrite for the first time, and it's quite strict.
Yeah.
Doesn't let you go through all those things. Even as an organizer, I have to follow certain protocols. I can't just invite anyone without registration also, because there is an email registration if you're not registered and all these things. So once the registration officially closes, which is 29th of the next week, before the before we start the next week's class, then I'll have like a clear idea whom and all I need to send, and I'll share all the details with everyone at that point. Until then, I'm keep on sharing, but it's all over the place. Some are in the Eventbrite, some are in WhatsApp group, some are still communicating with me over email. They're planning to still join the course. Some are even today checking out. They might join, they may not. So based on all that, on 20 before the next week class, I'll be able to guys send you all a WhatsApp link on the Zoom link on the WhatsApp or over email also. So for regarding the open book assessment, open book questions are going to be application oriented, like for you to think. Either it is personal application or application in this society, but it's going to be more for your food for thought. So you have to think about the whole question, and you have to read the book and understand and then present it. So, but you can refer all the materials, you can take your time to write. It's going to be 600 words, and already you will know all the questions, and from those questions you will choose some to actually answer. So that will also be given to you before the module begins. And sometimes we might have small presentations by the participants. If the course content is like that everybody can participate, we can make presentations. And we can also have sharing sessions within the class, like each devotee can be assigned some things to study and come and present like that, so we can make it more participatory also. Olga?
Thank you. I just wanted to mention in response to the previous question, when I registered through Eventbrite in the original email, which is entitled Bhakti Shastri Confirmation, there is a repeating Zoom link, which is included in the click here to join link. So I think you can also access it that way.
Yes. And also there is that's exactly that. Eventbrite also sends, but if the mails are too long and then people are not able to figure out, because I think so many mails came from Eventbrite after registration for this course. I think at least 3 or 4 probably came to you. So I'm sorry for that, but that's how the whole thing is designed, even automatically. So you probably are going to receive more mails from Eventbrite in the coming weeks, but surely you will have the link also being sent. They're going to give all that you paid for. It's not going to go waste. They'll send you enough mails. Thank you. So the overall assessment includes open book. Agape?
Yes, Prabhu. Ananya, I think, has a question.
Oh, sorry. In the screen,
No,
I'm not.
that's okay. Thank you, Agape, for saying.
Sorry, I could see everybody in the screen.
No, absolutely. That's no problem. I would have texted you later, so it's okay. So Prabhu, you said that we don't have to memorize much, but whatever needs to be memorized, will we be given like in the beginning, and will it be tested during the closed book examination?
No, everything is already in the student handbook. So before I start module one, like by Monday, I'll give everything that is required for the nectar of instruction. What we have to memorize, what are the open book questions, what are the closed book questions, what are the self-study questions for every week, what are the learning objectives. I'll be sharing everything in a document for you guys to refer to.
In the handbook, it says text 1 to 4 needs to be memorized. So that's 1 to 4
Yes.
slokas of nectar of instruction.
Yes. And we also can have memorization sessions. We can just do a small session. Apart from this, if people are interested, we can just get together and recite verses and make sure we are able to pronounce nicely and we know the meaning of the each word if we have any doubts. So all those things can be also be done.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
So the overall course assessment, if any of you have a question, you can unmute yourself if I'm not calling you out, because I'm only able to see 4 of you guys in my screen currently, the shared screen on. So for the overall assessment, so we will have open book and closed book and an attendance. Even though it's an online course, you can always listen to the recordings later. We are like it's good if we can have at least 75% of attendance. And again, even Bright will help me understand that who attended how many times. So that will also be calculated there based on the email ID that you have registered and you're joining. So it will be registered also who is attending. And overall, and the verse memorization, overall we need to have 65% to clear the course and have a certification. Some of you I know are not looking for a certification because you already have. So still I would recommend you to take some form of exams so that you kind of invest yourself in these books. However, if you're not planning for an examination, assessment is optional. But if you are focusing, like if you are also intent on getting a Bhakti Shastri degree, which is a mandatory for second initiation, so then assessment is compulsory. So these are the details that I wanted to share from my side. So thank you, and Jai Srila Prabhupada. But if you have any questions on we can continue to take. There's like a silence. Yes, so next week we will start with nectar of instruction. By Monday latest, I'll give you all the things that we need to know before we start the nectar of instruction module. And I would advise that if you can even take out some time and just read, if not the whole book, just the first 13 pages, and just know what we are going to discuss and like that. And also the video, I already sent one, I'll be sending another video. You just watch the video. It's just going to be a short one, and just try to think about it whenever you have time. So then next week we will actually take up the verses and discuss them. And we will also discuss what are the closed book questions related to this section, what are the open book questions related to this section, and what are those answers. If there is any memorization, we can actually learn the verses together in the class, how to pronounce them. Then you can learn it on your own later. And anytime you have any difficulty in completing anything, open book or closed book or verses, you can always reach out to the course instructor for help. So does that help you guys? And if you have any other questions, we can always take. I'm actually looking for a way to conduct an open closed book exam. I'm trying to see if there is a software which can, in online, you can just type like, so I'm trying to work on a solution. If nothing, then we can do the Google Doc thing. It's not a difficult thing. It's an easy option, but I thought, is there more organized way of doing it? If I get some, I'll try to implement it. Otherwise, we always have the Google Doc, so it's not a problem.
Would it be possible?
Yes.
If on Monday, when you send all the instructions for the future class, would it be possible for you to send a link to the previous video? Like for instance, this
Yes, yes. I'll also be posting on the link.
Yeah,
What
sorry.
I'm planning to do is I'm trying to create a unlisted playlist on YouTube, which you can always access. And every week's classes, we will just put it there so that all the registered students can just go to that playlist anytime and access all the previous recordings.
Perfect. Thank you.
Paresh, bro?
Yeah. Prabhuji, for the attendance, in case you would not be able to attend and you watch the video, so how would you, do we need to notify that we review the recording and completed that?
Ultimately, like, we're all grown-up individuals, and like, if we can hear the recording and actually clear the exams and study, it'll be nice. But it's an experience to come to the class, to be with everyone and discuss and invest that time. But I understand life is not always like every week you can say you can take out the time, but try to make the time. Sometimes if you can't attend, that is fine, we will always share the recordings. But as much as possible, try to attend the class live, so then you have more association and you can ask questions in live, like that you can participate.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Prabhuji.
So if any of you have any other questions, we can take, else we can close for today, so that I can actually inspire you. It's not a long, it should not be a long session. From next week it will be at least 2 hours, so you have to block your calendars accordingly, and we'll make it more interactive, because it's a nice group of individuals who are like grown-ups, who can actually, already have, most of us have experience in devotional service, know the basic philosophy, have been hearing all these concepts in various forums, so it will not be very difficult to grasp. And in general also, these books are basic books, and we all know those philosophy mostly. It's going to be very easy to grasp also, and we will also have discussions here and some amount of preliminary study that you do combined together. It should be helpful. So if there are no questions, we can take leave for today.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
So much for everyone joining. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
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 Hare Krishna.
21 ki jai.
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 Hari. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Greetings from El Salvador. Thank you.
So excited. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.